Welcome to adilas. This is a tutorial on the bank's homepage. And to find your bank homepage from the main switchboard, you go under System Maintenance to the bank homepage. Once you're on the bank homepage, you're going to see quite a few links at the top here for deposits and payment search or check search, expense receipts, your history. You've got where you can view your registers, your different balances. You can link here to your reconcile your banks and your receivables and your payables homepage. What I wanted to point out too was you have where you can do your bulk deposits and your bulk verify on your expense receipts, as well as add a new bank. So if I click on the add a new bank link, and I do have a tutorial on how to add a new bank, but it takes you to the form where you can actually add a new bank in. Underneath the add a new bank is where you can search your different bank balances. The default is set to today's date, and it's also set to deposit and expense payment date, meaning anything that's assigned to the bank. If you click on the verified, you're going to get different values. And the reason that you're going to get different values is you have your adjusted running total, and you also have your outstanding checks, and you have your outstanding deposits, and then you have the verified running total. And the verified running total is what you have verified that you have seen in the bank and flowing in the bank and flowing out of the bank. And you also have starting bank balances over here that are taken into consideration as well, if that's applicable. One thing to know is that once you have everything up and running and you're getting the actual balance sheet part of the system in place, these starting balances over here need to be zero. So where I have this $350,000, which was the balance on that bank when I started with this system, I would need to do a deposit for $350,000, and then that money, the offset for that deposit, goes to either equity or it goes to retained earnings as an offset, and this would go to zero. So I would do a deposit for $350,000 on 1403, and then I would come back in here and I would zero this number out, and then that way my adjusted running total would stay the same. The other thing to notice on this page too is you do have drill down. So if I click on this drill down, this is going to show me my outstandings. Here's the outstanding deposits that I have, and then the outstanding checks payments that I have not been verified yet. Over on to the right is also where you can see what your adjusted running total is, and the adjusted running total is the amount of money that you should have in the bank after the deposits clear and after the checks clear. This should be the amount that should be left. So you can almost see where it starts with this value, then we added some deposits, and then we had this much money go out, and then we only had this much left. This value right here, if you have this bank selected as a default check writing bank, this is the value that will show up on your payables homepage, so that you'll know when you're paying your bills how much money that you have in that bank to be able to use to make payables. You also have over here on the right where you can set up your check writing. So this bank has been set as a default to print checks out of, and this is where you set up the printer. If you click on this print setup, and then each of these gray boxes, you can move the dollars around or the date around by clicking on it, and then use your little arrow keys, and you can move those boxes around wherever you wish, and then save your settings, and then you can do a print test, and then you can hold that white piece of paper up against a check and make sure the fields line up, and then once you have the fields lined up where you want them to be, then you're able to use any printer and print out your checks. So once again, this has been a short tutorial on the bank homepage, and the way I found the bank homepage from the main switchboard homepage is I came under System Maintenance and down to the bank homepage, and all the information of all of your banks is unlimited as how many banks you can have fall under here. You can add a new bank here. You have different links up here. You have where you can search and look at your register and also your outstandings here, and set up your checks over here. So that concludes the bank homepage, and thank you for choosing adilas.